And we are live. Welcome,
Cool.
everyone. We are just getting started on our indie spotlight today. Really excited to talk to a couple awesome creators about their new comic, DeadCon. My name is Michael. Of course, I'm one of the Wicked Publishing co-creators, and shall be joined by my fellow co-creator Matt here in just a moment, or co-founder rather, I should say. But in meantime, we have the two creators that we're going to be speaking with today. And so without further ado, I welcome to you Takaru and Kazuto. Welcome, guys. How's it going?
Thank you. It's actually all right. It's morning here where I am, so I don't know what you guys.
It's like almost like 11 in the evening over here on the East Coast. So I'm doing all right. I usually stay up until like 3 in the morning anyway. So
yeah, it's always with so many different time, and I'm over here on the West Coast, so we're all at different time frames.
Yeah, when we were starting to set this up, it said 7:30. I was like, oh crap! I have work, and he's all the way over there, 3 hours like behind. I'm like, seriously.
We definitely appreciate that you guys taking the time and speaking with us today.
Yeah,
it's gonna be awesome. We're really excited to learn more about your comic and dive into it all. So, with the first thing we like to do is kind of just introduce the audience to you guys, and maybe for those who don't know about you. So why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you got into comics?
Yeah, go ahead, Takaru. You go first. I think the audience has seen me 50 times already.
All right, so this is my first time, so forgive me if I screw it up. So yeah, I go by the name Takaru Arino. That's actually my last name is really Arino, but the Takaru is actually just a stage name or a pen name because I'm actually a cosplayer originally. I've been into comics for God, I don't really know. Oh God, this been a long time. But I've always wanted to draw literally my own actual manga. And then the next thing I knew after I was uploading my own personal story, Kaz approaches me with this idea and then I just actually fell in love with the story. It's something that I never thought I would be able to do and I was able to finally become a really good expression for that part. A majority of my artworks are actually on my Instagram profile. Some updates are in my Twitter profile, so if you guys want, you guys can actually go check it out.
Very nice. And what is your what is your Twitter handle? Just so people can find that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, just we'll do plugs at the end, but just in case people want to go check out your stuff on your Twitter, there. What's your Twitter handle?
Oh, that would be @Takaru Arino.
Perfect. Excellent. Thank you. And Kazuto, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little about yourself there?
Yeah, well, let's run it by again. I'm Kazuto. I'm an editor under Nana for manga, and I started writing my own not even recently. I've been in manga for about 2 or 3 years now since I first met Nana back in 2018, 2019. And since then I've been editing her scripts and working on her scripts, but also on the downtime working on my own that I never got to work on until today, until this one, until DeadCon. So it's it's a different ball game. So it's exciting.
That's awesome. That's really cool. And so DeadCon is your first project that you're taking on. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what the story of DeadCon is about, and maybe how you kind of came to want to create this comic that you guys are working on together.
So DeadCon originally started out as a indie video game idea that I had about 1 year ago because I'm still addicted to the House of the Dead Overkill, this Grindhouse rail shooter, and it was it's still a classic from the Wii era, and I just always fell in love with the Grindhouse aesthetic. It took inspiration from Planet Terror and other Grindhouse, and I was like, maybe we'll try an anime spin on it. I never got to do it. I made a graphic or two, and as far as that went, I made one script, and that was it. And then I shelved it, and for a while I've been working with Nana, editing her scripts again, and trying to figure out something on my own. And I came to the idea of DeadCon, and I completely reworked it to where the story revolves around these four friends going to their first anime convention together as a group of friends. But story goes, when they get over there, at first everything seems, pretty normal, and then just all hell just breaks loose, and the dead rise up and start causing chaos. And
That's great.
instead of a survival aspect, it's more now of a saving the world story from the actions of a evil madman.
That's so cool. I love the idea of combining something like that we would all be familiar with, like going to your first convention, with such an awesome, exciting, and fun story like that. That's a really great idea. I feel like that
Yeah.
works so well.
So, like I literally just took inspiration from just Grindhouse films, and I looked
Yeah.
at I even looked up like what's the closest thing that manga had to offer, and it was Colosseum, and it's not the biggest, but it was big in Japan, and it's a little controversial. Well, of course, it's Grindhouse, right? But the thing about it is that I kind of thought, and I knew this criticism was like popping up everywhere about Colosseum, was that people wanted the Grindhouse mayhem, but a lot of the time it was there, but then there was all this focus on like national political like stuff like that.
This one
And
here,
yeah,
with
yeah,
the tiger's head getting chopped off, or
it's freaking ridiculous. It has like
That's
this
wild.
100-man suplex, and
Jeez.
it is insane. The action is,
Huh.
but a lot of the
Wow.
criticisms about it from people was like the political the intricacies of the political side of the story it was trying to tell.
Interesting.
And while the setting was super ridiculous and it was action packed, and a lot of people love wrestling and stuff like that, a lot of people were like just they didn't like that other aspect of it. It just kind of got in the way of the action. And I kind of thought to myself, well, what if we skipped that and brought actual Grindhouse film to manga, like one from one,
Like a true Grindhouse.
like true
Interesting.
Grindhouse film, ridiculous, over the top plot, over the top action, um, and I even went to the point where, what if we snuck in the things that you'd expect to see in a Grindhouse, like missing reels, horrible dialogue, constant swearing, overuse of blood and violence, and even some of the panel angles and like character designs, and some things, like boom microphones being in the panel from time to time, because the boom operator is like lowering the microphone too much so you can see it. So I wanted to go. I was like, you know what? If I want to write this script, it has to be a one-on-one, actual, literal B movie experience
That's awesome.
in the manga format. And
That's awesome. That was really
when I
great.
say one for one, I am going for the one for one, especially with Takaru. We want that over the top violence, over the top action, unnecessary like overuse of like profanity, and just not raunchy, but grindhouse content that you'd expect. This so unbelievable and ridiculous plot that just happens because it's grindhouse and unconventional. So that's basically what I wanted with DeadCon. And I like High School of the Dead, right? And
Oh yeah.
like the opening is sort of like that, but it's a run of the mill story, right? It's a focusing on survival. It's kind of a run for the part in that regard, and it has lots of over the top violence, but it's kind of like, for me, while it's entertaining and like the boob physics in there was like, come on, man, like even for that, it was like hilarious. The story itself kind of took itself kind of too seriously, and the big praise for High School of the Dead was its violence. It's over the top violence. And I was like, what if we just what if I just took away the seriousness and every single part of DeadCon was tongue in cheek, where even if it was supposed to be tense or serious, it was tongue in cheek. It was done in that B movie Grindhouse way. It was, just filled with quotable lines or like tons of swearing or just over the top action sequences that's just like, are you fucking kidding me? So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do it. And I reached out to Takaru after trying to find an artist, and I'm so glad I reached out to him because this is insane.
So yeah, so you say you reached out to him. So how did you first meet? Did you already know of him as an artist, or
So
how did you guys start collaborating?
Nana actually
Nana
Takaru.
was a mutual
Mm,
Yeah,
mhm.
mutual
contact there.
friend.
We were both in the same group.
Yeah,
Because she had us try out something or read out something, and then me and Girito here are actually just in the same group. Like me and Kaz are just in the same group. And then I just actually let them know that I was also working on my own indie piece, because right now I'm still working on another piece. It's called Pandemic Story, which is also about to be released
Nice.
soon. Which is out of my genre, because my actual genre was the action shonen kind of genre. That's why my number one favorite manga is still Bleach up until this day.
Nice.
Um,
I bet you're excited for all
and
the Bleach stuff coming out these days,
oh
huh?
yeah, very much. The Thousand Year Blood War is one thing that all Bleach fans have been looking forward to,
Right?
and 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 the fact that I was actually writing Pandemic Story, and it's not an action shonen story. It's a slice of life drama. I kept wanting to try and challenge myself. I even showed them the storyline, where it's getting uploaded, how the story is going. Recently, there are only 3 chapters now, but I'm postponing the 4th chapter because of DeadCon. When he approached me and I first read the script, the first time he approached me, he didn't send me the script yet. I was like a little hesitant because I was still doing my piece. But then when I read the script, I just literally fell in love, because the thing about Grindhouse is that it's not really being given that much recognition, if you know what I mean. Because
That's
like
true.
you have these other stories that always come into play. You have these romance comedy stories, you have these action superhero stories, but when you come into horror, it doesn't scream Grindhouse whatsoever. When you come into like stories like, let's say, what's a good war story? Let's say Rambo or something like that. It doesn't scream out Grindhouse, you know.
True.
It's literally something that's not being recognized like at all. And the way he brought Grindhouse into how it could actually transition into manga,
Mhm.
the scenes just started playing in my head, and then that's where we actually picked up from there.
Yeah, that's really interesting you say that because I think you're right. Like the last, and I think you might have mentioned it, Kazuto, I think earlier, which is like the last time I remember seeing a really mainstream Grindhouse thing was the Planet Terror, like double feature when they were playing back in the day when they played that in theater.
yeah, Death Proof
That's
and
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
was
Planet
thinking
Terror.
about.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
one
Planet
from
Terror.
Quentin
Planet Terror is the last
Tarantino
one.
Yeah.
and Robert Rodriguez, I think it
Yeah,
was.
Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino was in it as like a brief cameo
Mm.
actor.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
he
remember
was
that.
more or less
Yeah.
producer slash co-writer kind of thing for it.
Yeah,
So yeah, so it's like yeah, you're right. Like it isn't service that genre isn't really being. There's not a lot coming out for it. So it's about time for something to come back to that genre.
and it's kind of, I think it it just introducing it into the manga world was it wasn't a challenge because some people don't realize that manga and anime, a lot of them, especially like High School of the Dead and others, they have qualities of Grindhouse that nobody like catches, like over the top violence, some like on purposely bad dialogue, or in anime like hammed up performances, over dramatic performances, or like characters that swear like so much that it's like done for comedic effect or to set up like this joke or something. And there's qualities of Grindhouse in anime and manga, but I was like, what if we actually brought that over to manga? Because Grindhouse, like we said, it's not unrecognized, but like Planet Terror and Overkill when it comes to video games and other Grindhouse inspired pieces like Lollipop Chainsaw, when those come out, they're like cult classics almost instantaneously, and it's just unique, and it attracts a lot of attention in the sense of it's not only its violence but like its unique way to present a tongue-in-cheek story. And I thought there's a lot of manga and anime out there that just don't do that. They're not. I get that their goals are different. They're not trying to capture Grindhouse, but it's kind of like there's a missed opportunity here. A lot of people want to see Grindhouse, and they just don't know it. Like, over the
Well,
top
I think part of what it is that back in the 80s, there was a lot of Grindhouse
Oh my god.
style like animes, like Ninja Scroll comes to one, and a lot of the stories that that studio did actually had a lot of Grindhouse aspects.
Yeah.
But I don't think
Yeah.
they were focused on more of like Grindhouse story, just more of Grindhouse action.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is true, but at the same time, it's been reworked over the time in a
Yeah.
sense. That's kind of the feeling I get with it, because I do agree. You don't really see too much of it. I think the closest thing that we've gotten recently was probably the way that 2016 Berserk was.
Yeah.
Because that seemed more Grindhouse than actual Berserk, and I was like, and the animation quality kind of made me really not want to watch it anymore. So I just went back to reading the manga.
I mean,
again.
hell, he does have a cannon for an arm, so.
Yeah.
Not
Not
I
only
was
that,
like-
he has a sword that you can't even really call it a sword. It's described as a hunk of iron, and it's made to kill dragons. To me, that is
But it's not
completely
a sword.
over the top.
So I was like, maybe it's time to try and bring Grindhouse back in its
Mhm.
truest form,
to its roots.
maybe not in the sense of some Grindhouses, like with like sex and stuff like that, but I wanted to bring it back in the truest form that I could, to its roots, to like it tongue in cheek, over the top adult action, and really kind of amplify everything to 11 that people like already, with some of the series that are already out there and have been around for a while. And just I think it's time somebody really truly went back out there with Grindhouse and introduce a new generation to what I think is a pretty entertaining form of entertainment.
No, Kazuto. So we have a question in chat that I think I would be great to get your take in, both your take on it, really. But Neostar says, "Sorry for asking, but how do you define Grindhouse?" So,
So
what in your mind does
So
that?
what defines Grindhouse is it's a lot of different things. Grindhouse originally came from actual theaters where they would play adult low budget films, action thrillers, action adventures, triple X adult films, sex films, and all these different kinds of films. And when it comes to Grindhouse itself, it's it's to that kind of roots of low budget B movie, of just over the top, sometimes over the top violence. In some cases, it's like overly sexualized storylines and femme fatales. This kind of unconventional attitude, to storytelling. Just this overall feel. It can encompass a lot of different genres, but it's that feeling of it's low budget, but it feels like it's not constrained by the general market of, let's say, Hollywood, because like even though we got Planet Terror, it's like after that, like, did anybody else try this, besides
Not really.
Machete, besides Machete and
Oh
few
yeah,
other,
yeah.
it's kind of like it's kind of like they don't want to do it because Grindhouse is that it's sort of limitless in that fact, where it's supposed to be kind of raunchy and dirty and over the top, violent adults. And most companies today are, when it comes to film, they're like, do we want to really do that because of markets, like
True. I
being
could
banned
see
in
that.
other countries or not being accessible to like the teen,
Right.
segment of film goers or to kids and stuff like that. So that's
Interesting.
why you have like Marvel. A lot of their movies now are just like PG-13 and stuff like
Oh,
that,
yeah.
and they allow Deadpool to exist because of adult fan demand. But it's like outside of that, it's like, do you want to know why they don't have a new Punisher film out? Two reasons. Performance of the last Punisher film, and also because how are you gonna market this to like PG-13 moviegoers, to families? Good luck trying to advertise that guy to like
Yeah,
In fact,
really.
your
like
suburban soccer mom.
the closest thing that you could consider to Marvel for Grindhouse when it comes to a Punisher film was actually for Ray Stevenson's Punisher film, which was
Yeah.
Punisher Warzone. That one was literally bloody. Like you could see the blood splatters come in and out, in and out. You can see they're slitting throats, getting stabbed in the chest, and then they're like erupting blood. Those are the kinds of things that are right now being censored as much as possible. And like the only way that you can actually make it possible to show it in cinema and it's legal is if you actually dub it as horror, which is actually kind of sad because like if you actually think about it, it's not just in horror and gore that you can just show these kinds of stories. I mean, you can show them in action too. I mean, I don't see why not, right? Right. But the idea of actual grindhouse. I'm sorry if you could hear the church bell, but the
That's all
actual
right.
but the actual thought of a grindhouse film having all of that, and then you take it up another level, and then you add in another series of inspiration. Let's say the Evil Dead series, right? If you consider the Evil Dead series like a zombie film, where blood and gore again are legal. So why don't you put grindhouse and zombie films together? You have yourself something that could actually be a very fun project, a very fun read.
Yeah, you're right. It is almost like it has the ability to kind of mix up a lot of different genres that maybe could be stale, a little bit stale or derivative otherwise, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
Oh.
it's kind of it's kind of sad to see a lot of people having to literally, their only choice is to literally go back and find these products inspired by Grindhouse. Like Lollipop Chainsaw is not backwards compatible, and you have to dig through Amazon to find a copy, and it's pretty rare as a game. And for some people, they're overpricing that crap because they know it's a sought after game.
Really?
Or like Overkill is like sometimes like $40 or $60 still online, and it's because it's a cult classic. They don't make those products like those anymore. Or like films like Planet Terror, you can get it for cheap, digitally, but it's like after Machete, after Planet Terror, in the last like what 5-6 years or so, besides any kind of Machete material, what do we got for Grindhouse? And it's nothing. It is almost absolutely nothing. And I think the closest would be Death Wish by Bruce Willis, because they made a Grindhouse version of it. They had like a Grindhouse filter and editing to it. And I thought that was genius because not many films actually did that, which was fun. And I
Interesting, yeah.
actually, I actually like that movie, but it's like outside of that, nobody was even touching it with like a 100-foot pole. And it's pretty sad to see that. I'm sorry that I have to say this on a podcast, but it's sorry to say that most people out there don't have balls. And I was like, if I want to write something, the first thing I want to write is something that has balls, that is not afraid to be overly violent, over the top, ridiculous in almost every way possible, and just doing it because it's fun. Just introducing a new generation and a new, audience, especially for manga readers, to Grindhouse at its most traditional roots, at its almost purest, almost.
No, that's really cool. I love that, and I think that's such an interesting way to do it. Like like you said, we've not really seen that in manga. So to bring that back into the forefront and make it a true Grindhouse, make it back to the roots of the genre, I think that's really cool. So
Yeah,
I'm really excited to see you guys do that.
it's exciting.
Now, this first issue, you guys are working on it right now. Maybe you could talk to us a little bit about how you plan. Do you guys have any plans on release yet, or how you guys plan to release it? I know you're working with
So,
Ichigo Comics, so maybe you could talk a little bit about that.
so we're trying to get it out for in time for Christmas. There have
Nice.
been some, delays here and there. Of course we can't, control these kind of things, but I didn't want to push Takaru here to like push himself to death to get it out. But I was like, as long as it's out before Christmas, that is a-okay, because we both want this to go over smoothly. We know there's road bumps in life, but I was like, if we can meet this deadline, for as like a Christmas gift, of sorts to manga readers, that would be wonderful.
Well, that's excellent. So it's very imminent, almost ready for release then.
Yeah, technically it's almost ready for release. I'm just inking the final pages, and then I'm gonna proceed to like edits. The final. Proceed to do the final edits, and then after that, everything's already all good. It's gonna be ready for upload.
Very nice. And am I correct? Will that be available through Inker, the platform there?
Yeah,
Yes.
INKR.
INKR, very nice, man. Well, that's awesome. I wish you guys luck with that. I'm looking forward to seeing that, and we'll have to post that out when once it gets released there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
I'm
I got
equally
a quick
excited.
question.
Yeah.
As far as like story wise or world wise, what era is it in? Is it more of a modern, past,
It's modern.
or future?
It's today's modern era.
Okay.
We're literally taking like the design aesthetic and like the style of 70s 80s exploitation like Planet Terror did, and we're
Mhm.
literally like plopping it into the modern era. So it's kind of like things that it's inspired by
Huh.
a lot that you'd kind of see in today's era of like anime and manga culture.
Oh.
And so,
But with a filter of the kind of Grindhouse on top of it.
well, not the filter exactly, but the over the top story design, character.
Those certain aesthetics, you could
Yeah.
say.
Yeah, and some
Okay.
things, like the boom mic being in like a frame or something, or
Mhm.
like how some panels look, like movie grindhouse film like camera angles and stuff. So
Now,
we're
do you
And the way
trying.
plan on
with the
having
action.
natural movie logic where nobody knows what a zombie is, or are you going to actually have it to where it's more
Oh no,
like
this
what you were
is
saying, modernized to where people should know exactly what a zombie
yeah.
is?
This is where this is like people. It's going to be one of those things that everybody knows about zombies by now. Like we've seen they in the world of DeadCon is basically our world. So like you've seen The Walking Dead. It's not going to be called The Walking Dead, but you've seen something like that. You've played all these zombie games. You've seen all these zombie movies, and everybody, of course, knows what a zombie is. But you know how to, until you see one yourself, you think it's okay. I've seen it a lot. It's not going to be too bad, right? You see an actual one, you're like, ah, shit. Like,
Now, of course, we gotta ask when it comes to zombies, you gotta ask the question: fast zombies or slow zombies?
a mixture.
A mixture, interesting,
It's gonna
That's
have,
actually pretty good,
yeah,
right?
especially for a grindhouse. This way, there's a little bit of intensity with some of them, and then some of them it's a
More of the
fun kill
horror.
that people get to watch.
the reason why I'm throwing in the ones that run or jog is mainly because of the infinite possibilities of ways that you can think of to make killing them on panels sound fun. Like let's say for example, like the ones in Left 4 Dead, the really fast sprinty ones that can leap over like cars and and go over like walls and stuff like that. How fun it is to like pump a shotgun shell into its chest as it's on its way down, and it like flies up into the air like a spray of blood. It's kind of like we want that kind of fun, with the slow zombies. Emphasize this, like for example, there's a panel in our prologue chapter which I call like the opening credits. We have this one character that literally just unloads an assault rifle into this crowd, and it's the slow zombies, and it's ripping flesh and bone
Oh.
and brain matter and stuff, blood everywhere, and it's just kind of like, with slow zombies, you want to rip them up, you want to tear them up, you want to, since they're slow, you can see them, you can, they're not like zooming from place to place, they're just shambling there, just waiting to get picked off. But with the fast ones, you want to have like a way that just entertaining, how just like to make one fly or blow it to pieces or like to cut it in half, and just think of all these creative ways to fit a zombie kill into the story that's fun and that's brutal, and that will make you go like, holy fucking shit, did he just do that?
So the zombie kills are a big part of the series then for you guys.
DeadCon, I want DeadCon's zombie kills to be
Nice.
like not one of, not on top of like the ridiculous story, but like be just as fun, like be like in your face, like almost completely over the top, unexpected, or expected but totally brutal and just memorable. Because it's how I see a lot of zombie media in anime and manga is that you remember the kills, but it's kind of like you've seen those kills a dozen times, you've seen them cut a certain way dozens of times, you see them shot to death the same way dozens of times. I was thinking, the one of the things I don't see is a headshot that makes them explode completely, and I was like, I'm writing that into DeadCon, into one of the chapters.
It's kind of like how you were saying earlier about why High School of the Dead was so popular.
Yeah, people loved it. One of the reasons why it's one of the top zombie manga that people put on their list is because of the violence. But it's like, you've seen this violence played out over and over again. You don't see them get any more creative. And when they do get creative, it doesn't last for that long, or it's a highlight for just one character. And I was like, what if we just amplified that, not just to 11, but to 20? What if we could have zombie kills that are so outrageous that it's hilarious and fun? You won't see that in like this chapter, but like as I'm thinking about writing it, I can say, for example, I want to kill a zombie where one of our characters named Kaz, because I'm that original, rips off this zombie's arm, makes a fist from its hand that's still attached to the arm, and beat it to death with it, like just smash its face in with its own fist.
That's pretty
or
awesome, yeah.
Creative kills with like tools, or creative gun kills, or like, say for example, using a shotgun as a baseball bat to hit a frag grenade into a crowd of zombies or something. So we want to get that creative with the kills and make
that's where the Grindhouse comes in.
Yeah, that's where the Grindhouse comes in. Like
Gotcha.
full blown to 11, and even in just the dialogue, the Grindhouse is coming in. Constant swearing. The one character, Kaz, one of the main characters, is, I made him to be a potty mouth. Every other word is a swear, an F-bomb, like fuck, shit, motherfucker, Jesus fucking Christ, or Jesus fuck, or something like that.
We actually need a counter for this right now. There's a lot of F words right now.
Yeah, we need a counter. We need that's gonna be a point.
Really?
I'm gonna write it like at the end of the manga. There's gonna be a swear count, and it's just gonna add from the totals from every previous chapter, including the current one, and just keep going from there.
You've heard of a kill count? Well, this is a swear count.
The swear count.
That's pretty epic. I love that too, because that really is, like you said, bringing that Grindhouse aesthetic and making it a little bit more interesting to watch read the zombie kills and go through the book and keep it from being monotonous and really keep it fun and exciting.
Yeah,
So that's gonna be really
It's
fun.
gonna be it's fun writing it. It's
Why does the kill count thing remind me of that one YouTube channel where I think it's like everything wrong or everything great about and then the certain film and then they actually do an actual counter.
Oh, really? Yeah, it's kind of like that in a sense. You know, you got to kind of count up your kills, man. Yeah, you gotta tally it up. You know.
I think we'll use
But
that for the promotional campaign.
Oh wait, really?
now something that I've been kind of thinking about is, you know, with it being a convention setting, do you guys have any elements of like a battle royale, or is it more about the survival, or do you have any? How do you guys approach it, kind of any
Well,
elements like that?
I'm completely trying to avoid the survival aspect and go towards the story of saving the world, because
Oh, interesting.
it's that there's a lot of zombie manga that just focus on survival, and while it's
True.
not a bad thing, right? They tell some really great stories with that. It's kind of like we kind of seen that approach already, like done over and over again, whether it's a serious story or one that's told for the lulz or a light-hearted kind of personal story or something like that. And it's kind of like, what if we negated survival as the focus of the story and focused on a group of ordinary people thrusted into the roles of heroes saving the world. And
I love that, dude. That's so
and,
cool, because that's like that is that manga aesthetic. I feel like bringing into in storytelling, kind of coming into play there. But it's also, like you said, it's something that you don't really see a lot. Like, I'm a huge zombie fan, but you're right. Like, a lot of it is about the day-to-day
yeah.
survival, and it
And
can get old after a while.
yeah, and one of the things is that when it comes to saving the world, it's like finding a cure, but instead ours is stopping the villain and killing everything that is not human. It is focused on saving the world and kicking some fucking ass. And it's that kind of attitude that I really want to convey, because people love that. People love that in media, like with video games. Like, people love the new Doom games because it's just you whooping and kicking ass, taking names, and just ripping and tearing everything that is not human to shreds. And people love that about like light gun games, like with the House of the Dead franchise, or when we're talking about like Time Crisis or whatever. People just love just the just action. And when it comes to movies and stuff like that, they love the same thing. Just watching a film about this badass character kicking ass and taking names. It sometimes it doesn't even matter if the story is horrible. It's like, is the action good? Are we kicking ass, taking names? Because if it's so, that's the only thing that matters. And I was like, if we took this design philosophy and put it into a market that's pretty oversaturated with mostly the same kind of story focus.
Now we have a question in the chat here. Neo Stars asks, "Does he kill more than he swears?" And that's a great question there.
He kills one of the characters kills just as much as he swears. Maybe more swearing than killing, because I don't know why, but it's kind of like I need that one character that just constantly swears, not to annoy people, but it's kind of like to be creative with the dialogue, right? To keep it not dry, because of course you have a lot of characters that swear, but one inspiration I took was Isaac Washington from the House of the Dead Overkill, because of him constantly swearing creates unique kind of dialogue situations between Agent G and himself. So, like, for example, in one of the levels, they find themselves just like walking into this like funhouse ride, and Isaac goes like, "You shitting me, man?" And G is like, "This is pretty spooky." And Isaac is like, "What the? Are you holding my hand?" G's like, "Yes." And Isaac's like, "I ain't your mom." Like, "Get the fuck off me." It creates just these opportunities of comedic chemistry between characters to react to situations in over the top ways. So
True,
like,
yeah.
either if it's anger or if it's something that they're like afraid to do and they start swearing up a storm because they don't want to do it, or just to see how creative they could swear, because of course you want to use those fun sentence enhancers, but it's kind of like you can mix it up a little bit, make up, swears variety of like the F bomb, like holy fuckity fuck. Like, what did you say? I'm sorry for swearing so much, but it's like,
Hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's part of the experience,
yeah. And it's just that, like, it adds to it in a sense that some people might find it like annoying, but it's all about the way that you execute it and the reason why it works for Tarantino movies, or it works for games like Overkill, or it works in other media departments, is because the execution, because of how it's balanced with chemistry with other characters, or how it complements the character, him or herself. So it's just it's just fun. So he kills just as much as he swears, maybe more swearing than killing.
That's a
But
great way to look at
we
it.
we want to make sure that there's plenty of both, if not an infinite
You gotta have,
abundance of both.
yeah, exactly. You gotta have equal measures in this story here.
More than equal.
And in fact, Newstar kind of takes it one step further and asks if there's any kind of Dead Rising inspirations going on here. Would you say have you ever played those games or
Oh
anything
yeah,
like
I'm a
that?
big fan. I'm a big fan of Dead
Nice,
Rising.
nice.
Actually, but I hate the fourth game with a passion. I was just like, you guys fucked it up. You
Oh,
took
that's funny.
my man Terrence J. Rotolo out of his
Mm,
role. You made him an idiot, and you dumbed
mm.
down everything. And
That's too bad.
and there's less weapons to kill him with.
The
Sadly,
one I always liked, the one that always stuck with me was the I think in one of the games you can get a motorcycle and stick like
yeah, the
I don't know,
second one,
swords or something on the
the
side of it, or,
sliceicle,
right?
the
Yeah, yeah,
slice.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, that
Well,
was pretty cool.
so the thing that I guess you can say we take inspiration from is the very first game's raw, like, just
Mm,
pick up anything and fucking
totally.
kill something with it.
I do
Because I
like
don't
that.
want to, I
Yeah.
don't, the thing that kind of annoys me is seeing people in like zombie media like build these really just silly weapons, and they just take time away from killing to show the montage of building it. It's like, okay, it looks cool and it kills stuff good, but I wanted to see what you could do with what you just picked up, how creative you could be without building anything out of it, Like, let's take, for example, in the first game, there's like, I don't know how many weapons, but like hundreds. And you could get creative with some of the things that you could use as weapons, like CDs. If you don't have a gun, CDs are amazing weapons to have because they're a one-shot headshot kill at level 40.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of like you pick it up and see how creative you could be, kind of strategize. Or whenever you pick up, like, let's say like a bear, even at level 50, the stuffed bear is a feared weapon of choice. Or like
Deadly.
jewels. It's not just a woman's best friend, it's a zombie slayer's best friend.
It
Just
says, yeah,
throwing
really.
just throwing it is like a shotgun without shotgun shells. And
Oh,
it's
that's brilliant.
the
Yeah.
thing that you could say we took inspiration from the first game when it came to the violence is not really
It's the
building
improvisational
yeah,
nature, and
yeah, not just building weapons out of what you can find, but the more creative way you could kill something with it.
that
Or,
makes sense. Yeah.
we
Yeah,
won't
yeah.
have a lot of that, but there's going to be instances of like close quarters where
Where they got to do some moves. And...
yeah, they're going to have to get really creative. Like, for example, I can say there's going to be a really creative nail gun kill for close quarters, because up close and personal with a nail gun and zombies is like, it's a formula win-win. Or, kills with a hammer, how creative you can be killing with a hammer. Or even in the original Dead Rising, you could pick up an arm and just throw something, throw it at a
That's
zombie and see if
great.
you could kill it, or distract a zombie with it. And I was like, with that arm kill, I took inspiration from Dead Rising for your ability to do that. And I was like,
Okay.
I always wanted to beat a zombie to
Gotcha.
death in that game with a hunk of meat. I might as well do it in Dead Con. It's super
And here we
fun.
are.
It's super fun to write that down.
Now, I want to bring up some of the art here. This, I think, was just posted to Twitter just a couple days ago, kind of when you guys first announced it.
Yeah.
So let's bring this up here so people can take a look and see kind of what to expect from the comic. But So are these some of the main characters then, that, or some of the
Yes.
characters we'll be seeing in the first issue?
Yes, so we're seeing all these characters appear, and from the very beginning. There's going to be more characters, of course, but we have our 4 main characters and our villain in the back right there, in the top
Nice.
left. In the top left right there.
I love that you kind of going again with the manga style. It feels like you guys have a lot of cool and interesting characters that you guys are kind of going to be exploring.
Oh yeah, definitely. They're not too complex. They're made to fit characteristics of, well-known characters in anime, manga, or Grindhouse.
Mm.
So each one is not one-dimensional, but they're built around the purpose of capturing the spirit of some of these characters that you'd see, but adding the Grindhouse spin and making those characters unique, unique as DeadCon. So it's kind of, we take inspiration, but for the most part, what's deep down in their character is totally unique to DeadCon.
And now, Takaru, maybe you could talk a little bit about what. Do you have any inspirations or anything that kind of you were thinking about when creating this piece here, or what was going through your mind? Oh, did we lose? Did
Takaru.
we lose him? We may have lost Takaru here.
Takaru. My God, the zombies got him.
That's right, man. Oh no, the zombies got him.
You took my artist.
Hey,
Can you guys
zombie
hear
artist
me
came
now?
down.
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay, sorry. I don't know what's
That's
going
all
on. I
good.
think my headset. And no, the zombies didn't get me. I heard that.
Ah, good.
Do you have Verizon?
No, the inspiration mostly draws. Well, as I said a while ago, I'm a Bleach fan. So
Mm-hmm.
technically, my art style literally has been heavily inspired by Bleach. So that's one. But the major thing that actually got me to how I can design these characters or make them how they look like is the fact that the thing that we're looking at here, these characters, the five characters here, they're just technically cosplayers. You know
Mm-hmm.
exactly that these are just normal people dressing up as characters from their favorite series and everything, going to an event, having fun, effing around, and then they go home. That's the premise of a cosplay event technically. And the fact that they're now stuck inside of this ginormous big problem that that they never actually expected. You have to show them exactly what else they could do, right? So
Mm.
I know it's just mostly based on the fact that because I myself, again, I'm a cosplayer. I craft my own costumes. The experience that I had ever since my first cosplay event, I technically tried to pour all of that in here to the story as well in the way that I actually draw it.
Well, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, definitely think it comes across, and I do like that idea of like these are just your kind of everyday people. They aren't like superhumans or have any kind of special abilities. But they're thrust into this kind of thing, that's way over their head, and they have to deal with it.
Yeah, because
That's
like the problem with that is cosplayers are all normal people. Cosplayers, they're already going through something in their lives, right? They're already going through something in the community. They're already going through something with their work and everything else. And now you're suddenly throwing these people in an event, and then the one heavier thing that you throw upon them besides life and issues at their social life or whatever would have to be this giant zombie apocalypse that suddenly starts inside of the event. Now that's going to make you try to lose your mind, right? It's not all about survival right now. It's trying to find out exactly who the hell did this and putting a stop to it. That's just technically it, right? So um that's the entire cycle that keeps going in my brain whenever I try to draw it. If I think one way doesn't work for me, I try another way, even if it kind of delays me. Because the one thing I want to focus on as much as possible would actually be quality as much as possible.
very nice. Yeah, I do love this poster here. It is really good, like just the layout and the dynamics, and it kind of really makes you want to learn more and find out what's going on, and it presents kind of like this exciting action kind of heavy cover here. I feel like you did a good job there.
And he did excellent with the fact that he knows Grindhouse, since he knows it, and it's amazing to be with somebody that knows what you're writing and knows what you want to capture with it and make it like a movie poster. Like DeadCon is a Grindhouse film, and just seeing him how just amazingly he executed it is not only a dream come true, but it just oozes the aesthetic that DeadCon is really going for, and he just nailed it right on the head. Like the moment we started to work together, it was instantaneous. And with art like such as this, when it comes to the promotional art, cover art, he really knows Grindhouse, and it clicked. And seeing this every time just like fills me with joy, because this screams at me every time I look at it. This is Grindhouse.
Mm-hmm.
So I love that.
So do you think that for you, has that become like an essential part to DeadCon? Is that understanding of Grindhouse?
Oh yes, I
Oh, yeah,
believe.
totally, 100%. If you don't understand how the genre works, then you wouldn't be able to pull off the story properly. With Kaz, he knows how does the storyline works. He was able to write it properly. With visuals wise, I know exactly how Grindhouse plays out. I'm able to put that on a page properly. It's just like someone teaching you how to bake a cake. But then again, if how can you bake a cake if you don't know the recipe? It's sort
True.
of like that.
And that makes a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, that's really cool. So then because you guys have that connection there, you guys kind of have this great working relationship as a result.
Oh yes, it is like amazing. It's this partnership is like
A dream come true.
It is a dream come true. And
It's a wild ride. It's a
it is
literal wild ride.
it's kind of like working with Nana. It's like with me and Nana, like our partnership clicked,
Mm.
and it's clicking again when it comes to working with Takaru, and it's an amazing feeling, and it feels so perfect when things just click that easily, and you're just rolling, and you're just amazed at how just everything's just fitting together like a perfect puzzle, like with no missing pieces, no nothing. It is amazing.
Well,
Stop
that's
it, man.
very
You're
cool.
making me blush.
I always make him blush, like every time.
Hey, that's fair. Those are true words, man. So I appreciate that. That is very cool. Once you have those kind of great relationships with your artist and writer relationship, it is something to hold on to. That's a very cool thing there. And as Neostar says here, he's loving this so far. So it definitely sounds like you guys are onto something here.
I hope so.
Well, I am gonna tell you, it's a really interesting piece. This is something that I've never actually seen anyone do in like quite a long time, and for me to actually be involved in actually creating this for the most part, that's even more exciting for me. Because like the one thing that excites me the most is not being able to draw it or finish it. It's me being able to actually see it released already to the public and what it actually comes out as. Because it's like this is my work. This is my work with Kazuto's work, and it just clicks. It just gets there. It's exciting. It's very exciting.
It's
That's awesome. And now, kind of shifting gears a little bit, something that I've been considering, going through my head is we've talked a little bit about the characters and kind of the plot a little bit and the genre and all that stuff. But something that I know we haven't really talked about today is the setting a little bit. And so, what is DeadCon? Can you tell us a little about what we can expect when we get down to the convention floor?
so with DeadCon, expect B movie mayhem, just absolute B movie mayhem. But one of the things in the story is originally called Ichigo Con, because Ichigo
Oh,
Studios,
nice.
Ichigo Con. It's supposed to be America, in this fictional version where everything's pretty much almost the same. Ichigo Con is America's biggest convention. It is in the world's biggest convention center in, a fictional convention center in Miami, Florida, because, a lot of big conventions sometimes are held down there. And, well, in the Florida area, not just Miami, but,
Hello?
What happened?
Did we lose you?
Cause?
I thought maybe
It seems like it.
Idol
I thought it was
Oh.
me.
voice actors and actresses.
Oh! You'll have to kind of start over a little bit.
Sorry about that. We cut out there for just a moment there. Got
I thought I lost you to a tank.
Okay, let me roll back. Let me roll that back a little bit. Hit the rewind button. Like, no, that's a missing reel. Okay, let's go
Yes,
way
really.
back then. So in our version of the world in Dead Con, which is almost exactly the same, Ichigo Con, America's biggest con, and it's supposed to capture anime and manga culture, right? Just the high energy, the joy of meeting your idol voice actors and actresses, having fun, going to these cons and doing these different things, like photo shoots or fun events and activities, and just taking that fun and putting it into the actual setting itself, but adding to the facts, what if zombies came and fucked everything up, like it made it a complete hell. And it, I wanted it to kind of do that in a way that is fun and over the top for Grindhouse, and just take what people come to know and love about anime and manga culture, especially with conventions, and just add this Grindhouse B movie mayhem spin to it. And really, what I wanted to do as well is just with these characters, it kind of reflects the world too, right? The energy of manga and anime culture. And I really wanted to capture that, and people can expect to see these things intertwined with DeadCon in the beginning, but also throughout when it comes to like the environment, like the convention center. It might be a fictional world's biggest convention center setting, but you'll see the aesthetic. You'll see
I love that.
like the booths. You'll see like these panels. You'll see the big banners for
great,
the
dude.
big animes in this universe, the big mangas in this universe, big movies sometimes, and anime movies and games at this convention center, to really kind of pull you into a very familiar setting that you're like, if you go to convention, you're like, I've been there, or I've been to something like that. Maybe without the zombies and all the bullets.
Maybe
but
with them though. You never know, right? With
yeah.
cosplay, cosplayers are creative, so who knows?
So the world of DeadCon is supposed to be something you could imagine being in, just maybe without the zombies and over the top violence. Or maybe if it does happen, maybe you'll be the heroes, maybe you'll be the ones to save the world while kicking ass and taking some fucking names and stuff like that. And so that's what DeadCon's world is really all about.
It's got a bit of that power fantasy element too, in a way.
Oh yeah, it's if you ever wanted, in a manga format, to really just kind of feel like tearing shit up with these with characters, there's no better way to do that than in a full-blown zombie apocalypse started by a madman.
That is pretty epic, man. I love that. Yeah, you guys got something really excellent on your hands here. I'm super excited to see the final product here.
I'm super
Coming
excited.
out here just at the end of the month, I believe. Is that correct? That's the plan.
Well, we're planning around like the 23rd or 24th, Tucker.
Yeah, maybe like the 24th, I guess, the day
Nice,
of Christmas Eve.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Yeah.
just in time for Christmas. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's just like literally like Merry Christmas. Here's a Grindhouse flick for you.
Right? What a better read on Christmas. Heck, I know that's the kind of Christmas I'd like to have. So
Hey, I don't all over again, so it's perfect.
Ho ho ho, motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's right.
But I think it's gonna work well though, considering that whenever you're gonna go for a Christmas release, you would always think that it's all about Christmas, merry joy. And why don't we actually make it a little different, right? Let's throw in a zombie apocalypse with a bit of swearing that involves possibly making fun of the actual genre while commemorating the actual genre itself, right?
Right, exactly. Giving it that respect it's due, while also being able to make fun of it and have fun with it at the same time. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's very good.
For
Yeah.
for the most part, respecting it, but we have to have fun. We
Exactly.
gotta have
You gotta
fun.
have a
as
You,
little
a
you
fun
always
with
chapter.
gotta
it.
have
Tongue
fun
in
when you're
cheek.
doing stuff.
Sure.
Tongue and
While I'm
firmly
actually
in
drawing
fucking
it,
teeth.
Oh, is that
it's
right?
it's obvious that Kaz actually enjoyed writing it,
Mm.
and from even though I'm actually like stressed out or like a few hours of sleep, it's not really his fault or my fault because I'm literally having fun also drawing with it. Putting the
I
scenes
keep
on
telling you
paper.
to go to sleep, and you're like, fuck no, I'm drawing this
Yeah, you're
shit.
Dude,
making him sound like a
it
slave driver over here.
no,
Over
no,
here.
no, 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 no,
Don't
no.
don't
Don't worry,
even
that's entirely on me. That's entirely on me.
Go to
That's
sleep
entirely on
next
me.
time I
No,
tell
no,
you to.
I can see where you're coming from with that, Tucker, because even with me when me and Michael first started like Project R, there were plenty of nights that I stayed up most of the night just to draw it, and then once when we were at those last little final legs, I stayed up all night all the time just to
Exactly.
make sure that
Mhm.
it starts getting done because it's part of it's the excitement, a lot of it's the immersiveness that the artist is in because you're designing it and you're creating basically this world for visual input. But a lot of times some artists just can't help themselves. It's a curse for me, honestly, that I tend to
That's
stay
why.
up
That's
once
why. That's why I'm
I'm
thankful with
really
my employer.
enthusiastic about it.
That's why I'm thankful with my employer because I work the night shift, and the company that I work for is actually allowing me to draw while I'm actually working. So at least I
Nice.
know that I could actually catch up as soon as possible.
That is very
That's
cool.
really
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Hmm. True. True. Well, one question I would like to ask as we start getting close to wrapping up here, but I wanted to ask, can you tell us about the future of the comic? What can we expect from the future issues that you'll be working on?
Absolute fucking mayhem. Just each chapter getting more ridiculous every step of the way. Not letting go, not relenting. The swearing will continue to flow. The bodies will continue to drop. The bullets will continue to fly until the last motherfucker is dropped.
Mhm.
That
So
is
in other words, you're gonna be throwing your readers off a cliff and catch them right before they hit the ground there.
Oh no, they aren't jumping off that cliff. They're in for the ride. You're in for
It's like
the
it's like you making it's like you making them ride on a push cart and then you just push them off a cliff. Yeah,
And
It's getting faster. It ain't getting slower. It's gonna keep going and going. And
it's just like
fast.
this is Dead Con and you're watching Jackass or something like that.
yeah, really.
A never-ending jackass style.
Oh my god.
So, quick question. I know that it's happening in the convention. Is like I know that's where it starts, but has it spread outwards or is it contained
Oh
into the
yeah,
convention?
it's spreading out in the story. We're
Mm.
going to places that you've seen in Grindhouse before. I can't really spoil things for sure, but all I can say is that things are pretty much liable to get really sort of familiar if you've seen Planet Terror, and it's going to spread out from the convention center to other locales, and the story's not just going to center on our four group of friends. We're gonna see
Oh
some
wow,
other
interesting.
action in Miami, as it's like side stories and stuff, or a side plot story to go along with it. But
That's pretty cool.
we're following primarily our group, surviving in other locations
I like
to,
that.
Mm-hmm.
because since they're trying to save the world, they don't just want to stick around in one place. They want to follow whoever's
Gotcha.
behind it and pursue them and put a stop to it.
So it's
And
really that kind of that kind of action where you're jumping from place to place and you're really getting to see a lot of cool locales and different
yeah,
locations and stuff.
going through these locales for a purpose for the story, but even when we're going from place to place, we're throwing in action to make it fun, to make it exciting. So it's like sometimes we won't cut from place to place. We'll make it fun getting there. Like I can say, for example, there will be a part of the story where it goes back to a hotel that the convention center is connected to. We're gonna make that first running to that hotel fucking visceral. And sometimes when you have to send the characters to go back, just as fun. Maybe they'll shoot their way out, or slice their way through, or make the travel like fun. So
And so
gonna
fun
be-
is a key word. Fun is like is like at the core of the series, I would say.
yeah.
Sounds like to
So
me.
it's not confined to the convention
Nice.
center, but even that is pretty big. But when it gets out to like the streets of Miami and other locales and stuff, the mayhem just ramps up constantly, and it feels as though the bullets are endless and so are the dead guys.
Let the bullets
You see,
fly and the bodies hit the
this what I
floor.
like. This what I like about Kaz. I'm already the artist, and the way that he's actually explaining the story already, I'm getting goosebumps.
Hey, that's how you know you got a good writer on your hands there.
I think
man.
that the fun part, especially for him, was doing the the villain. He always loves doing the villain. So
No, that's actually a good question. Real quick, I'm gonna bring the poster up here, and because you mentioned the villain there, the villain, of course, I believe you mentioned was in the back there.
Yeah, he's right
But,
there. Got the glasses right there.
We have a question in the chat. Neostar says, just out of curiosity, which character is Kaz on that poster?
The
The one
guy
in the middle.
the very front, dual
very
wielding
front.
pistols, right
Nice.
there. I'm sorry, not just the pistols, but the dual wield 44 Desert Eagle Magnums.
Damn, those are some
You
heavy
better got some
firepower.
arms for those, man.
Yeah,
'cause
really.
That thing can
Oh, it's
whip you.
Grindhouse.
Woo!
You don't
Yeah,
need
it's true. I mean, you
arms
gotta go
to
big,
hold
right?
That
It's
is
Grindhouse.
true. That is
That is-
true.
Inconsistencies, remember inconsistencies.
Yeah. So Kaz right there,
You
our
gotta love
local potty mouth, trigger happy motherfucker.
Yeah, but amongst all of the characters, the one that I actually am looking forward to the most is the villain, because I literally love a good villain. For me, you can't have a good anime and a good protagonist without a good villain.
Our
So-
villain, Richter Payne. Jesus H. Christ, he was fun to
Yeah,
It was
I
a-
like that name.
It was a fun imagination when he first pitched it over to me. I was like, okay, I kind of got the idea, and then we just actually went from there.
He's our German American voice actor turned maniacal, crazy, batshit insane super
Psychopath.
villain, and he dresses to impress, but also to kill. He's got like designer shoes and jackets and a designer scarf. He's got a goddamn gun cane that's like in gold. It's just he's crazy. He's absolutely insane. He can flip it on and off on a switch and be, very like suave and very cool because he dresses to impress, and so he will impress in one way. But if you get on his bad side, if you piss him off, he's gonna impress you in another way, and that's by showing you his gun cane.
A bit of trivia in there. The gun cane was not really part of the original
Yeah,
character
it was
description.
not.
I just came up with it.
Takaru was like, so maybe we should give him a weapon. It is like, what, the cane? And then we went from there to literally a gun cane.
Yeah, because like the inspiration for that was, well, obviously this is a zombie flick, right? So you actually do need a weapon regardless, right? And then like the way that he described him, he dresses to impress. So it's really kind of weird if this guy just brings a normal gun with him all the time. So what's the most fanciest thing that you can give this guy who dresses to impress? And it's a cane. And then the idea came into me. How can we make a cane a weapon? You can't make it a sword because that's already done before. That's literally
Very
already
true.
done. Even in Assassin's Creed, they've already done that. And then suddenly the thought of Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter comes in. with
So
the axe
course.
shotgun.
the
Does that count as
conversation,
Grindhouse?
the conversation was, well, basically we took that and then I threw out, what if we added a little man with a golden gun into that? And we thought of the golden gun cane, which is Richter Payne's like
Oh my God.
signature weapon. So
That's brilliant.
12-gauge cane
The one
shotgun.
the one thing I'm imagining is how he will not trigger the gun while using the cane. That's the one thing. Because if you're gonna think about it, the best way to put the trigger would be underneath the bottom of the cane, right? And then you just stomp it in, and then it shoots. So
Then we'll figure it out. It's Grindhouse. Nobody needs
yeah, I
to know
know.
that.
I
Nobody
know,
needs
right?
don't ask any questions. Just roll with it.
Pretty much, yes.
Like the machine gun leg in Planet Terror. She didn't even reload it, but we're not
Exactly. It
worried
doesn't
about
matter.
that.
Don't sweat the details. It just looks cool, guys.
It's just really cool.
That's all we need.
But
Well, this has
Richter,
been really awesome. I really have had a fun time talking with you
yeah.
guys tonight. As
Thank
we
you.
wrap up here, is there anything that you'd like to say to people out there who are maybe considering picking up your book when it releases?
don't miss out. Do not miss out. It's something that you may have seen it, but not common enough. It's something you should really look into if you want to have a good time. If you want to mix up your manga collection, or if you want something new and fresh, it's DeadCon. It's got to be DeadCon. It brings something to the table not really many mangas do, and it would just be amazing if you want to check it out, because this is something spectacular that especially with Takaru doing the art, you don't want to miss his art with how he tells my story visually. And it's actually, I'll say this, it's becoming our story, so it would be amazing for you to check out the Grindhouse movie Mayhem with us and light some zombies up.
Well, that's exciting, man. I'm very much looking forward to that, and I hope everyone goes and checks that out. That is going to be very fun.
Definitely. I know what I'll be reading on Christmas.
Right? That is going to be the perfect Christmas reading material right there. And,
All I can actually say is the moment that it actually releases, I hope all of you guys actually enjoy reading it as much as me and Kaz actually had fun writing it. Because that's the thing that actually made us excited for it in the first place, was conceptualizing everything and then putting it actually all on paper. And now that this actually going to be happening, I'm actually more happy for Kaz, because this is his story. I'm literally more happy for him. Because like the number one thing is that I'm happy for him because he's getting his story already done. The one thing else, well, that's actually making me happy is that the fact that he chose me to illustrate this. It's a big honor for me to be chosen, even though he considered that I'm actually working on another story, But I think that this one will go more lengths than the story that I'm making. I'll be honest there.
Oh,
well, that's excellent,
man. Don't.
That is really
I'm
nice.
serious, man.
don't do this.
Dude, I'm serious. Like, you've seen my work already, man. You've seen Pandemic Story. It's a slice of life drama. It kind of gets to you. It can get boring at that time.
No, but I love it.
My genre is the action thing. So it's a good. I never thought that you would actually choose me, to be honest.
Wow.
Well, I'm glad I did. I was so glad I did.
But yeah, that's pretty awesome, guys. And so yeah, look forward to that. 24th is the expected release date, and it's going to be released through Inker Comics. Is that correct?
Yes.
I'm gonna plug that. I'm gonna get that link out. I believe that I have that up here for everyone to check out. They have a lot of cool stuff, and so you can check out the different stuff that they have there, as well as read DeadCon in just a few weeks. And I'm sure you'll be posting more about it on your social media. Speaking of which, can you go ahead and let us know about where people can find you online so that they can check out all the stuff that you guys got going on?
Right.
Kaz, you first.
No, you can go ahead and go first. You
go first, right?
You made me blush last. Now you go first.
Dude, seriously, you go first. This is your story, man. I'm just the guy who I just get interested.
I'm fine. I'm doing it. This guy over here. Okay. Stop it! Stop laughing.
You guys are clearly teammates here. This is more evidence, I think, right here than anything.
This guy. Oh man. So you can find me Real Life Kirito on Twitter. Also on Instagram, it's Real Life Kirito, except instead of O at the end. It's a 0 because some bastard took it.
Ah.
I want it back.
Oh.
I
Yeah,
want
find this guy.
it back, man. I'll send the zombies after him.
Mhm.
But you can find me there on Twitter and Instagram. It's not really too hard to find me. So hope you guys drop by and say hello and yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And then where can we follow you as well?
Well, for my case, I actually gone ahead and actually set my Instagram link. So most of the time, I'm more active on Instagram than on Twitter. But I do have a Twitter account at Tucker Arino. You can also search me on Instagram. It's also the same name, Tucker Arino. You guys would see my different artworks there. I also accept commissions if you guys want to. You guys just have to hit me up.
Give him your money. Give this guy your money. Do it now.
Seriously.
Do it. He's awesome.
But yeah, majority of updates would actually be there. Majority of random art stuff that I'll be putting it will also be there. So if you guys want to visit, you guys want to follow me, go ahead.
Awesome. And I also think I got, yep, there we go. I got both your Instagrams up there as well. And perfect. Excellent. And well, thank you so much again for speaking with us. We'll be on the lookout for that comic coming out in a couple weeks, and go ahead and share that on our end as well. I'm super excited to see this first issue.
Oh,
So congratulations
Oh,
again,
thank you
guys.
so much.
Thank you. We're super.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Thank you.
Oh, definitely. And of course, follow us on Twitter at Wicked Publishing. And if you can give us a like or a follow, that's always appreciated as well. Thanks for everyone hanging out in the chat here, asking your questions. And if you're watching a replay, thank you for that as well. And thanks, guys. We will see you on a future episode of the Indie Spotlight. And go check out DeadCon. It's going to be awesome, guys.